Samsung just pulled off something many people didn't expect. The Exynos 2600 is done. Mass production starts this month, and it's almost certain to power the Galaxy S26 series. That means Samsung's most controversial chip line might finally be ready for redemption. And it's not just about phones. It's about proving Samsung can compete with the best in chips at the tiniest 2-nanometer scale. Why does this matter? For years, Exynos has had a reputation problem. Samsung's chips were often criticized for running hotter, draining more battery, and lagging behind Qualcomm and Apple. In fact, many Galaxy fans would go out of their way to avoid Exynos models. So when rumors started that the Galaxy S26 Pro and Edge would use the Exynos 2600, a lot of people were skeptical. But here's the twist. Early signs suggest this could be Samsung's big comeback moment. The Exynos 2600 isn't just another yearly refresh. It's built on a 2-nanometer process node, which is cutting edge even by 2025 standards. Smaller nodes mean better power efficiency and more performance packed into the same chip. According to reports, Samsung Foundry is now ready to mass-produce 2-nanometer chips, which in itself is huge news. If Samsung can pull this off reliably, it won't just change the Galaxy S26 lineup, it could shake up the entire semiconductor industry. So, what exactly is the Exynos 2600 bringing to the table? First, performance. Geekbench results suggest it's actually faster than Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 and even Apple's A19 Pro in the iPhone 17 series. That's something Exynos chips have never been able to claim before, beating both Qualcomm and Apple at their own game. Second, efficiency. One of the biggest complaints about older Exynos chips was poor thermal management. The 2600 aims to fix that with something called Heat Pass Block, or HPB. Think of it as a smarter way of moving heat away from the chip so it runs cooler and uses less power. If it works as intended, we're talking about longer battery life and smoother performance without the overheating issues that dogged past models. The lineup strategy is also interesting. Samsung is reportedly splitting the S26 series between its own Exynos and Qualcomm's Snapdragon, with the Pro and Edge getting the Exynos 2600 and the Ultra using Snapdragon's new chip. That suggests Samsung is confident enough in the 2600 to put it in two of its flagships, but still hedging bets by keeping the Snapdragon in the top-tier Ultra. And depending on the region, Samsung could stick with its old dual-chip strategy, meaning some markets might get Qualcomm across the board. But the real story here is Samsung finally proving Exynos belongs on the same stage. Now, let's zoom out a bit. This isn't just about smartphones. For Samsung, the Exynos 2600 is a test of two things: whether its in-house chip team can finally silence the critics, and whether its semiconductor manufacturing business can regain lost ground. Samsung Foundry has been lagging behind TSMC in recent years, but a successful 2-nanometer launch could attract new customers and give Samsung a much-needed boost in credibility. And make no mistake, companies outside of Samsung are watching. If the Exynos 2600 proves strong, it could open doors for Samsung to produce more chips for partners, not just its own devices. Of course, it's not all guaranteed. Geekbench scores look great on paper, but real-world performance is what matters. Heat, battery life, gaming, camera processing, all of these will decide if the Exynos 2600 really delivers. And if it doesn't, the backlash could be even harsher, because this is Samsung's boldest attempt yet to prove Exynos is more than a backup plan. My take? If the Exynos 2600 lives up to the hype, the Galaxy S26 could mark a turning point. For years, the narrative was that Exynos was second-rate, something you settled for if you didn't get the Snapdragon version. But if Samsung truly has a chip that's faster, cooler, and more efficient than both Qualcomm and Apple, the conversation changes. Suddenly, Exynos isn't the underdog, it's the benchmark. And that could reshape how people see Samsung not just as a phone maker, but as a global chip powerhouse again. So when you hear Galaxy S26 with Exynos 2600, don't dismiss it as the same old story. This time, it might just be the comeback we didn't see coming. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.